Hello, everybody. It's Monday once again, and tonight we're going to talk all about the upcoming year. We always forget how many Star Wars products are coming out, so that's what tonight is for. We're going to go through everything that we're looking forward to for the rest of 2023. We're going to rate our excitement. We're just going to mess around because, man, it has been a Monday for all of us. So, Wes, if you can summon up the strength to start the week, I would love it if you'd be so kind as to punch it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Living Force, a UT Network podcast. Tonight, all about the future of Star Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson. Gosh, I don't have enough saliva in my mouth. And joining me tonight to talk all about 2023 and our favorite fictional universe are two of the greatest folks on the planet. Starting off with the man back in his natural habitat of a random hotel room. It's Dr. Charles. Oh my gosh, Dr. Corey Helton!
Jesus Christ. First of all, I never want to hear about your saliva ever again. Second of all, my name is not Dr. Charles Hankel. Get that shit right, bro. Get that shit right. What's up, nerds? Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome back to the show. Yes, I'm in the hotel room, Lenore, North Carolina, a lovely, small, godforsaken place in North Carolina. Don't ever get sick and go to the hospital here. You might be stuck with me taking care of you. Another week, another day in the life.
Another day in the life and a threat to everyone. Speaking of getting sick, we are missing, unfortunately, Dr. Charles Hankel. He was on a lovely vacation last week, and we were very excited to get him back this week. But unfortunately, life had other plans, which I'm sure he will regale us about next week. So in his stead, we have dead air. Absolutely nothing. We're just going to pause every few seconds tonight, assume that Charles would say something. Okay, rude, Charles. Matt, you don't have to edit anything in there. Instead, though, we still have, of course, the bedrock of our foundation, the Ellie De La Cruz of our show, with how much excitement he brings on a weekly basis. It's Wes Jenkins.
Hello. Excitement? Is that what you're looking for?
That's what I want.
No.
Energy.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's indoors in this heat wave that's going on throughout the U.S. I'm assuming everybody else is sweating and profusely perspirating as I am. I'm glad that I got my air conditioner fixed about 2 months ago because, geez, I would be dying in this house right now because it's 102 in normal terms, but it feels like 112, whatever the hell that means. So,
that is awful.
but there's a breeze outside, so that's kind of okay.
There's a breeze.
Why did they decide to settle in Texas? Like, they were, who decided it was just like, you know what? It's August right now. This is the place that I want to be.
Yeah.
Well,
just keep going. Just keep going.
I would say it never used to be this hot, but it always comes back around. But Lord G. Willikers, it is a hot one. You could fry an egg and some bacon on the sidewalk if you'd like.
Ooh, yeah, we got up into the 90s today for first real test of the air conditioning and the new house for the summer. I'm getting ready for my first southern summer. Kind of really isn't in full swing, so trying to get there, but surviving. Hope everyone else is feeling comfy. Of course, if you're watching us tonight, hello. Hope you're having a good day, and if you're listening to us later, hope you had a good week. I hope it's been good. Make sure you're liking all the videos, subscribing everywhere. You know the drill. You review us, tell your friends, tell the person when you go to Trader Joe's. Let them know what podcast you're listening to if you like. But tonight, as I said, we're going to be talking all about the future of Star Wars as we have many projects coming up in 2023. But before that, a little bit of life updates. I'm excited to get back to you guys because it feels like it's been a long time since we've chatted, only because I was in a car for 26 hours over the last 3 days. I drove to a wedding for one of my best friends from college, known for over 10 years.
Wow.
My buddy Dave married his beautiful wife. Now I am so old. His beautiful wife Camila up there in Michigan. So we did that. Very long drive, but had a great time. seeing some old college friends. And then y'all, I gotta tell you, I came home to see something cool on my porch. I wanted to share with you. Hold on. Pending. This is a good old episode of Eric Forgot He Pre-ordered this, and then it was on the porch when we got back. Actually, that's a lie. Our cat sitter brought it inside, so thank you. It looks like this. There we go. This is a very familiar box to some folks. For audio listeners. Plastic. It is a lightsaber box with. You guys recognize that symbol on the front of it?
It was in Rebels, right?
Yep. This is the Sabine Firebird, and inside is the Ezra Bridger lightsaber.
Oh God.
So
Corey's
that arrived.
least favorite lightsaber in history.
No, not the gun one. Not the gun one.
Which lightsaber?
Oh, not the gun one.
Ezra
No, this is the second one. This is Ezra's second one. That we have seen Sabine have in the Ahsoka series, which is why I'm assuming they made it. So I haven't plugged it in yet, or turned it on rather. But yeah, added to the wall. All our friends at Patreon who saw my collection video know exactly where it's gonna go.
Nice.
So that was fun. And then guys, that wasn't enough, because you know what sucks? Coming back from vacation and realizing that your work just kept on going and now you're just behind. Which is what happened to me today. So on my lunch break, I texted Corey I was gonna do this. I'm like, dude, I need something to get me through this day to get to the show. So I went to Target on my lunch break. I broke down and I did pick up the Starfield Xbox controller. It's been a retail therapy week.
You know what's great about that controller? Because I zoomed in on it when you sent it to everybody in Slack.
What's that?
It has the key bindings on there already, so you don't have to look to see what to do.
Look at that. Look at that.
Literally,
that was the last thing I did.
Literally everything. This is the best Xbox controller that's ever been released, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I also bought this controller. I don't have it with me in my hotel room, but yes, it is sick. I mean, it has freaking clear. What are they? The bumpers. Yeah, the bumpers are translucent. And I saw a video. We were talking about this earlier. I saw the video where, like, when you're using it, if you like look into it, the motors, you can like see them moving and stuff inside of there, and like vibrating and all kinds of cool stuff. So like,
it's sensational and
it's
like
a gorgeous controller.
And I had the moment where I was like, because my TikTok algorithm, as it does, kept showing unboxing videos. And I know Corey had, and I kept asking you, Corey, about it. And I knew what was going to happen. I was going to keep wanting it and be like, maybe later. And then I would wait for it to get sold out just so I could be sad. I'd be like, I was waiting for that moment to be like, dang it. And I said, that's so stupid. So I looked at my Target. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? That's what savings are for. Saving me from a meager existence of not having a Starfield controller.
And if you don't know how to hold it, that shows you how to hold it as well. Grip where?
I did it for you guys.
Grip here.
Grip here.
On
grip
both
here.
things.
Touch these buttons.
That's fantastic.
But I will say, I looked online at my Target store because I had passed it into Target because it's sold out on Amazon. It's like 4 weeks delay on BestBuy.com. Like, you can't really get it online easily. And I saw it in a Target this weekend. And today I was like, you know what? Let me see. And my Target said they had 5 online. And I said, I'm going to go on lunch. If they're still there, I'm going to get it. They had 2 left. And that was in like 2.5 hours. So feel very good about it. I got the guy to open it was behind the glass with like the consoles. So
that's how you know.
Very stoked. So you know what, guys? If you're having a bad day at work and you can afford it and your bills will be paid, give an ear impulse sometimes. Why not?
I mean, you know, I'm usually not the collector of the group, right? I don't really buy a lot of collector like items, but I did buy the Starfield controller myself as well. And I love the controller. It's absolutely gorgeous. The fun thing about those special editions like that too, especially if they're associated with a high profile game, is they have amazing resale value. So
yes, they do.
You know,
insurance.
If you're gonna buy something like that, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with buying something, enjoying it for a while, and then selling it to someone else that can also enjoy it for a while, right? So
that's how I'm going to get the Starfield headset, is when Corey gets bored with it.
I know. Yes. You always have to sell for a profit, though, Eric. So you know.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. I have the Halo Edition Xbox, and I've been thinking about this too. Like eventually, even when we're in the next generation, I imagine I could get a decent amount of money for the Halo Edition Xbox. So I kept the box too. So
yeah, nice. Always. But that was good. But also all that stuff happened after Something happened in your week, Corey, because our weeks coincided yet again.
We did. Our weeks coincided. Last week, after I finished up at previous hospital, headed to Charlotte. Caitlin and I did. We met up with a friend, Emma, who was considering moving to Charlotte, and we had a good old time. We got to see Eric's crazy Star Wars room. This shot of Eric in the podcast genuinely does not do it justice at all. I was genuinely blown the hell away when I walked in this room. Like, it is excessive. Like, when I say it's over the top, it is truly over the top. Like, Eric's been talking about, he filmed it and put it on Patreon recently. I don't know how you got so much shit into the office, dude. Like, every single square inch is just like covered with Star Wars or Lego, and it's like, it's not bad. I'm like,
it's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Like, it's done well, right? It's a little much for me. It's that kind of sort of maximalism vibe a little bit, but it doesn't look bad. Like, you've organized it really well. It's the lines are clean. Like, you've clearly put a lot of thought into it. It looks hella good. But yeah, we had a good time. We hung out in Charlotte last week. As you probably heard me mention on the show before, I am moving to Charlotte in August. We're convincing Emma to move to Charlotte as well. Maybe some big news down the horizon to share eventually, but nothing quite yet.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But it was fun. We had a good time. We went to a Charlotte Knights game. Went to a cool rooftop bar kind of overlooking the stadium. It was a really good time. Charlotte's a great city, and it's fun to visit again. And it rained the whole damn time, though. It's the only thing.
It did.
Weather has been trash almost every single time I've been to Charlotte in the last 3 months, so it's part of it.
I could use some rain.
We love to have. Wait, you gotta come visit us.
I saw rain once.
Yeah,
I've heard of rain. What were you doing when you weren't hanging out with us in the rain?
Peepaw told me about rain 40 years ago.
I'm tired of this rain, Grandpa. That's too damn bad.
Well,
what were you up to? What were you doing,
You
man?
want to talk about what I did?
Yeah, I missed you this week. I feel like I haven't.
Tell us.
I kind of got
Wes
burnt.
is great.
You can see it on my face. So
yes, of course.
I did a couple things. So before Friday, I left my home, drove a couple hours down the coastline to Matagorda, where I have my lease, and hung out with some friends there I haven't hung out with on the weekend in a while. And I went bow fishing for the first time. I do practice archery. I hunt with my bow. I haven't killed anything yet, or I haven't salvaged anything yet meat-wise, but I didn't use a traditional compound bow. It's more like a made-for bow fishing bow. So it's a little smaller, and it has a reel.
Oh, so it's a gun.
It has a reel on it. So
made for bow fishing.
You shoot the arrow, and then you can reel the arrow back in after you shoot it into the water.
Cool.
You shoot a fish.
That's some Horizon Zero Dawn shit, right?
Yeah,
There. Like that,
cool.
you would craft that on the workbench.
So I did have a picture here of good little old me. So
Yo.
this is
It's a big fish, bro.
that's alligator gar. Those are dirty, disgusting, nasty animals. And so that's actually a small one. So they get like 4, 5, 6 times the size of that thing. They will come up and eat bugs and stuff off the water. So when they raise, I'm up on the bridge and I just shoot down at them, and I got one right through the belly there.
Nice.
Wow, that's like perfectly centered too. That's still like aesthetically pleasing.
They
Yeah,
are
that's like
surprisingly
a-
resilient. So I just take the arrow out of them, throw them in the water, and they actually heal rather quickly because gar are dinosaurs. That's a dinosaur that I shot there. By the way.
Hold on a damn minute. We got to talk about this. You shot this fish in the abdomen, and it's going to survive?
Oh, for
what
sure.
the hell?
Oh yeah.
So Corey and Eric went to a baseball game. Wes shot a dinosaur with a bow with a reel on it.
Yeah, so that was fun. That's the first time I've done that. It's only my second shot ever, and I got it right through the belly. So then I
You think this guy went home and like told his wife, "Honey, you're never gonna believe what happened to me today."
Oh, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you what the guy to the left of me in that picture that you can't see did with his rifle. So there's a couple of his friends that aren't coming back home. If that's what you want to hear.
You know what? You know what that is? That's like if you're playing like Elden Ring or something, and you beat the whole boss, and the health bar goes down. You're like, yeah, but then he just decides to shake it off and gets a full health bar again. That's this fish. It's gonna come back and kill you, Wes. Like it's gonna remember
Yeah,
take its vengeance upon you.
I won't be back for sometime soon, so maybe he'll forget about me. And plus, that bridge is about 10 feet up off the ground, so I think I'm safe. But that water, that's river water that runs through our property, and then it goes into the intercoastal into salt water. So we have a lot of land to play around with out, but it's still, that was like 102 outside when that was going on. So anyways, I had a good time. Had a good time out
boat
there.
Fishing. That's kind of cool.
Good, man.
Boat fishing, I know it's a thing. I've seen people do it from a boat, like off the tip of the boat. I've seen
they'll do like there's like fish that jump out of the water as your boat goes through it, and they'll just like shoot them through the air, like up in the air, not like down at all. Wow. It's crazy.
So you have to use up some of your skill points in the bow tree first before you can do that.
Yeah, you gotta learn that.
Exactly.
I had a compound bow when I was a kid, but because I saw Lord of the Rings and I'm like, I want to do that. But I just did like targets and stuff. And then I was like, I'm done with it now. And my dad's like, cool. Bought a whole compound bow.
No bows.
Nope.
That's funny. I lived in the country. I also had a compound bow growing up. We used to target shoot with them, but I haven't held a bow in probably friggin' 20 years, genuinely. So,
well, stay tuned, everyone.
The person who is not here also shoots archery. He says it's actually like a good meditation device.
I know. My personal hero, Dr. Peter Attia, is also obsessed with archery. So, he was obsessed with Formula One before I got into that. So naturally, I probably will eventually grab this one as well. So, we're slowly becoming the same person over time, unintentionally. So we'll see.
Well, stay tuned, everyone. We've put weirder stuff on Patreon before, so maybe we'll all go bow hunting together. But even if we don't put it on there, we still want to say thank you to everyone on our Patreon at patreon.com/Youtini. And we got some announcements for you guys. We've been teasing new content for a bit. I am here with announcements and dates. This week on Wednesday, the Ghost Crew is back. Charlie and I are finishing up Rebels Season 3. It's all recorded. It starts releasing this Wednesday and then will be released bi-weekly through August. I will say, I think the first episode back, we were using a different mic, and then we swapped out the mic, if I remember correctly. So if there's one that sounds a little muffled, the next one is really good. That's on me in editing. However, very excited, very proud of these episodes. And thank you to everyone who has loved the show and was very patient in us getting back to it. So stay tuned for those starting on Wednesday on the Patreon feed. And we have a brand new show announcement. And this is brand new. This is not a show coming back, because we got some of those coming too. This is a brand new show announcement called Dice Wars. This is a Patreon exclusive role-playing podcast where our very own Caleb Laminack rolls Youtini crew members through the wide world of published Star Wars RPG systems. OG Youtini fans might remember. 5 years ago now, we did the Youtini RPG where a few of us got together, Corey and I, and among them, to play the Star Wars RPG. This is a whole new show. Stay tuned. If you are an Inquisitorious patron and above, and so it's $10 a month and above, you will get access to this. That's how we like to kind of premiere some of our new shows. Episode 1 is debuting in July. So if you're listening to this on audio, that's like this month, basically. So they've been working real hard on this. I'm very excited because
this will be fun.
Yeah. I have not watched, listened to it yet. We've kind of taken a step back on some of these projects so we can be surprised with all of you. But this team's been hard to work on this thing for quite a while now.
Yeah, and
they have. And unlike our old show that we did, that we the Star Wars RPG we played ages ago. Unlike that, where I had no experience being the DM for that. I didn't DM it. Somebody else did.
No.
But he didn't have much experience with it. Caleb has got like a ton of experience.
Oh, yes.
And I've heard that it went really, really well. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard it. I also heard that he kind of walks you through it. So if you've never done it before, he is a very good teacher if you were a very good listener. So,
so if you wanted to learn.
Yeah, if you wanted to learn how to do it, it'd be great to start and check out the Dice Wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to Patreon, and as always, through Discord, or I believe also through Patreon, you can DM Timothy, our Patreon manager, with any questions or any ideas that you may have. All right. Other than that, I threw this at the last second. We have a little bit of news, quote unquote. I don't know, screw it. Star Wars Weekly Roundup graphic. Put it
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
We don't have a ton of graphics, so I love to throw them up when we can. That will change in the future. Today we had an announcement for a video that's coming up in a week. This is like a teaser for a teaser trailer where they're like, next week, get ready for the trailer that will be the teaser for the next trailer for the film coming out in 6 months. Today, yeah, right? It's one of those.
It's pretty accurate, actually.
So Star Wars is getting on that train, apparently, y'all, because we found out today that on July 5th, we're going to get an episode of the High Republic show that will reveal the fate of Burryaga from Phase 1. Those of you that may have followed along on Twitter, the Star Wars account put up this graphic of like Burryaga on a milk carton of like looking for him. And yeah, they're apparently going to tell us on July 5th what happened to him. And fellas, I want to ask you, speculation wise, there's a few ways this could go down, right? One, they could straight up just tell us what happened to him, like in like a creator interview. They could announce a book that he's on the cover of. So you'll have to be like, okay, we got him, but what is this image? Like,
first of all, we have to talk about this graphic. This looks awful.
He seems happily alive.
He does. What is just a eulogy with this picture?
I know.
Yeah, he died.
I know what they're going for with this, right? But I don't think that they've done the missing person on the milk carton thing since like the late '90s, right? So
yes,
this is like,
that's generous.
This is very old to do this, and also the graphic just does not look very good. Like this is like it's a milk carton, and they've like spray painted the lid silver, and it just looks goofy, dude. I don't know. I saw this. I thought this was like a fake thing when I saw it.
Me too.
It looks fake.
This definitely looks fan made. Yeah, it looks fan.
Yep.
Definitely looks fan
There's that
made.
Lucasfilm TM
It's
down
real.
there, and you're like, oh, hold on a second.
Yeah,
I know. Oopsies.
Yeah. What do you
This
think
is
about them
odd.
doing this during a
Get
show?
this together. I need you to get this out there in 15 seconds. Burryaga,
I know.
milk carton, go. Oh, and I want it
And
TM.
that guy doesn't have time, so he like outsources it to a graphics company in India from Fiverr. So
No. Well,
Yeah.
no, they decided that Secret Invasion intro could be AI, so why not do High Republic AI generated? Here you go.
that works. That works.
Hey.
Mixed feelings on this in general.
Mhm.
A little bit, honestly. As I have pretty much with everything about the High Republic in the last 6 months. I don't know, just to announce that they're going to, the way they worded it was odd. If they don't actually say what happens to you, Burryaga, on the High Republic show, then it's a lie,
Yeah.
right?
And yeah, it says quote, the search for Burryaga is on. The fate of the High Republic Wookiee Padawan is revealed during the High Republic show July 5th.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
has to be blatant, but as we know, you're right, Corey. Star Wars has done that before.
I know it could be a lie. I mean, so if they don't actually say it, then it
Yeah.
was a poorly worded. So I don't know. Mixed feelings, as with a lot of the marketing for the High Republic in Phase 2. I don't like plot points for books being released on YouTube. This feels like
Yeah,
it
put it
feels
in
to me.
Fortnite where they belong.
Oh my god, that's what I was gonna say. This feels like announcing the Emperor is alive in Fortnite to me. Like,
Yeah.
and I know this is not nearly as bad on the scale
No.
of terribleness, but like, leave the reveal in books. Announce that we're gonna announce a book.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that is what's gonna happen. Maybe they're gonna announce that they're gonna say it's gonna be in a book, but I don't like talking about plot points for books not in books. That seems goofy to me. I want to read that in the book.
Yeah, that would be the best outcome. It's because you want to.
Yeah.
If you want to give the readers something to look forward to, something they've been like we were talking about with the High Republic Phase 2. Like we want to be rewarded for actually reading Phase 2, and then so we
Right.
want some kind of reveals in Phase 3. But in Phase 1, like we all read Phase 1, we all don't know what the hell happened to Burryaga. Let us find out in the book. Not like don't let everybody else find out that hadn't read everything, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
right.
which is kind of shitty to say too, you know. It's like I want
It's a
everybody
little-
to enjoy it, but still.
I know.
Yeah.
I get it. It feels a little gatekeepy, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like, we don't get a lot of specialness, the book people, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
This is why
Give us
I
the-
have
we
to. I
earned
have
it.
to. Yeah. I
Book
have to
people.
think that this is because of a cover reveal or a synopsis for a book that like it's gonna be either on the cover or on the back treatment, like, and they're playing it up to kind of promote. Whereas Burry, you know, because if it's that, then that makes sense. Then I'm like, okay, we're getting a cover reveal and Boryaga is on the cover. Fine. You know what? That's maybe a weird choice for the cover, but that would make sense. If it's just like a segment, then I'm gonna feel odd about it. So we'll see. We'll know next week. Stay tuned on the Star Wars YouTube channel. The High Republic shows are always fun. At least they get really good folks on there. Christina Ariel does a great job. So stay tuned on the 5th, day after hot dogs and fireworks. And we'll see what happens.
Hot dog eating contest, July 4th, Coney Island.
Yes, sir. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And then every dog hating their lives for 48 hours. All right. Well, we'll see how that happens. Also, of course, coming up in July, as a quick reminder, we're going to talk about it in here in a second. But our next book is quickly approaching. Not slowly. Is quickly approaching. I believe 3 weeks from tomorrow, Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blade comes out July 18th. So be sure to get your pre-orders in on the utini.com release schedule. On that note, y'all, it is time to talk about the year ahead. 2023 is going to have a good amount of books and shows. We're kind of in a little bit of a rut right now. And by rut, I mean we have a second to breathe and do literally anything else. I'm still reading The Way of Kings, trying to enjoy my life. Final Fantasy 16 came out. I have things to do. But for the rest of the year, we have a lot of Star Wars coming out. And we thought it'd be fun to, one, remind Wes and Corey what's coming out, because that's always important.
This is selfishly for me, by the way.
Wes did want this. But we're gonna give you a little heat check. We're gonna give some ratings on how excited we are about certain books coming out. And just kind of get you guys ready for the year ahead. So, fellas,
Gia came to Charlotte and visited us over there one day. She's one of our content creators at Utini. I'm not sure if we've had her on a show or anything before. Oh, she's on Dice Wars, actually. Gia is. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Gia's on Dice Wars. She's one of our content creators, one of our writers. She's done some really heavy hitting stuff for us at Utini. Anyway, she came to visit because she also lives in Asheville and wanted to see Emma again too. She came and hang out with us for a day. And Gia told me that she appreciated the fact that I was really honest about how I admit that I don't know a lot of stuff. Like, I forget that stuff is coming out. She says it feels relatable and normal. So if anybody else is out there, tell me that you're on my side, that it's okay for me to be an idiot.
You too can ignore things until the last minute, everybody. You're an inspiration.
That's true. It's true. I know. We can. Not everybody can eat, breathe, and wait, I said that wrong. Eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff.
Yeah, not everyone can eat and breathe. That's also true.
That's true. Just take a turn.
All right. Well, the first thing we're gonna see if we can't eat and breathe this. Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blade. This is our next real big Star Wars release. Delilah S. Dawson returning to Star Wars Publishing after, frankly, quite a bit. She previously did Phasma and Black Spire, were 2 adult novels, and this is the adult novel about the Inquisitor. We've seen the SDCC cover. I believe last week we looked at that. That looks good. We're starting to get a few weeks out. It seems like there's not a ton of publicity for this yet, but we've had some excerpts. Fellas, on a rate of, let's go 1 to 5 amazingly articulate helicopter spinny lightsabers.
Oh my God.
How many spinny lightsabers of excitement are you for this book? Corey, because it's your favorite kind of lightsaber, I'm going to go to you first. When you think of those helicopters spinning and flying, how many of those are you going to give your relative excitement for this book?
I am going to give this 3 out of 5 spinning lightsabers. I am moderately excited about this, I think.
Sure.
I think in general, I don't love the idea of the Inquisitors personally. I mean, since they were introduced as a concept in Rebels, I think is when they were introduced, right? Didn't we learn all about Inquisitors for the first time ever in Rebels, the TV show?
I think
we
so.
did.
I think so.
Yeah. I just I don't love the idea of the Inquisitors. There's a couple small details about them that made me hard to relate with them. I don't like their goofy spinny lightsabers. You guys have heard me talk about it endlessly. I hate it so much. It's so dumb. Every way they use them, I hate it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And they fly with them, and that's literally the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't love that. I don't love that they all have the same freaking name. Second sister, third brother. I literally can't name a single one.
It's not the same name.
They're all
literally all different.
Like, I can't. I just can't, dude.
It is wild that we haven't figured out why, like why.
Like, I know.
Why they're called, like that's still never been explained. That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
It's never been explained. So like anytime we're talking about it, like in a hype kind of way, if it's like a villain in Fallen Order games or somebody that we see, like, I'm like, who's that? Don't know who that is.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why the book.
Is that the
Maybe.
is that the one with the horse, the horns on the face? Is it the guy with the circular hat? Which one is
Yeah.
it? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I have trouble with that a lot too. But
Name tags.
but the reason I'll give it 3 instead of 2, I think, is Delilah Dawson is fantastic. You guys have heard me talk about Phasma a lot. I really, really love that book. I think she's really good at writing sort of gritty, kind of villain stories. She's good at making you like the villain. I'm always a sucker for a good villain story with a dark and moody background. So I'm excited to see what this is like. I hope this is like the turning point for me that makes me really like the Inquisitor story. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of stuff recently outside of the Rebels TV show that's made me like the Inquisitors a lot more. I mean, all the stuff we got in the Kenobi show was awesome.
Yep.
All the stuff that we got in the Fallen Order games.
Yeah, that was great with Trilla. Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, I love that they've brought in Vader's castle a little bit. Like, I don't know if that was. Let's see here. No, let's see here. The base is not Vader's castle, right? No. I'm
yeah, Fortress Inquisitorius.
The Fortress Inquisitorius. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, lots of cool stuff in live action recently that we've seen from about the Inquisitors. So I'm excited. We'll see if there's a lot of helicopter. I'll change my mind, but we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic and genuinely excited for this project. Something outside of the High Republic, I think, is welcome after we've kind of been in that rut for a good while now, and something dark and moody and villainous sounds fantastic. And this is right around the corner too. So
yeah, that would be great. We need the audiobook to be like an Iscat ignited at both sides of her lightsaber and boom, 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 boom. Faster and faster they spun until she lifted off the base like a pretty little helicopter. Soaring towards the sun.
No, I know.
All right, Wes, we got 3 spinnies from Corey. How many spinnies are you giving your stoked-o-meter?
I'm also giving it 3 spinny red lightsabers. But yeah, I'm excited for Delilah S. Dawson's writing. I really enjoyed. I did not read. I did not read Phasma, but I should have read it before I read Galaxy's Edge book. So,
it was pretty good too.
I'm only saying
wasn't Blackspire?
Yeah,
Blackspire. Surprisingly good. Should have sucked.
We thought all it was going to be was an advertisement for for Galaxy's Edge, and it wasn't. I mean, there was some stuff in there, but other than that, it was a really good book. But yeah. I think this is going to be more gritty. It's going to be more adult, I guess you could say, compared to the Rebels show. I'm just looking over Wook right now, and the synopsis here it looks really good. It's like it says she embraces the salvation of Order 66. I'm just like,
that line is
pretty good. But yeah, I think this is going to be. Hopefully, we get some kind of. Origin story, like just little inklings of it, not the whole origin story. We just want to know like where this particular Iscat?
Iscat. I think it's I-S-K-A-T. Yeah.
Where did Iscat come from? How did she get brought into the into the Inquisitors? So maybe we'll get just little inklings of that, and then we'll piece it together throughout. Hopefully more books or the Ahsoka show that might show up. So yeah, 3 spinny red lightsabers for me. I hope that after I read it, it turns into 4 or 5 spinny lightsabers because I am ready for a change, ladies and gentlemen.
Me too.
And I do like
heard it here, folks.
So this helps.
We are due for an incredible or a masterpiece soon.
You heard it. Y'all asked for it. We're bringing back number ratings. Spinny lightsabers for all books. We're doing it. Official announcement. I will say I have started this book and am therefore recusing myself from this particular heat meter because all reactions are embargoed until July 5th. That's all I got. I'm excited for everybody to read
it. That's dumb.
Because I can't tell you what my excitement is for because I already read a bit of it very publicly, so I can't do that.
That's fair.
Okay. Some people can, but
I can't imagine. It is what a shame that someone that's reading the book is not allowed to tell you that it's good.
July 5th. July 5th. Stay tuned. But Wes, because you mentioned it, starts off with our next project, which is coming August 23rd. And let's be honest, probably one of the most hyped things in the entire year.
What is
You're
it?
not in the doc, are you? You're not in the doc. It's the Ahsoka
I'm
series.
just kidding. Oh God,
The Ahsoka series, Wes.
I was gonna cut to the
You're too
image and
good.
everything. How could you?
Oh, you're too literal. You're too good. I trust you too implicitly.
Ahsoka,
right.
everybody.
Wow.
The TV series. Can you believe it? It's finally here, and we got
No, I
a
can't.
date. August 23rd. We were thinking that this was going to come out probably. I was going to say like in September, but there must be something else that's coming out in September, or it's not really lining up. So August is great because we haven't had anything in a while, right? When the hell is Mandalorian coming back to us? We don't know. Well, we do, I guess. In the end of the year of 2024.
Take your time. Take your time. We don't need for the Mandalorian.
It is a good. I think it's a good timing to add this because the last one we had was what the Mandalorian and Bad Batch were kind of back to back, right? Or like within the same.
Yeah, literally happening at the same time. Yeah.
And it. How long ago was that? That was probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
Anyway,
something
that's
that.
why we're having this show because I keep forgetting everything. But August 23rd, the new Ahsoka show. The last we saw of this, we saw inklings of it, but we'll say Mandalorian season 2, right? We got some Ahsoka
That's right.
live TV appearances and a villain that uttered the name of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And then we got Star Wars Celebration, a new trailer with a particular blue chiss
God, the
being.
trailer rocked.
So that was fantastic. Yeah, oh my God, it was so good. So I am stoked for this. I am stoked that I would say I will give this 4 out of 5 Ahsoka head tails.
Ooh,
okay. Are they in pairs?
Yes,
Is
they're
this-
in pairs. So
is
I
this-
get 10.
Evens?
I get 8 out of 10 Ahsoka head tails. Sorry.
Okay, 8 out of 10 Ahsoka head tails. That's pretty
That's
good.
funny.
Yeah.
I will say I started off because Ahsoka's one of my favorite characters. You know, if you watch this show every week, you see I have the line of Ahsoka's above me. She's a very important character to me, and I've really liked Rosario's portrayal in live action. I've like not loved it as much as animation, but everything I see about this show has made me more and more excited. And anytime that I think that I'm like slightly hesitant about this show, I remember that trailer specifically. I remember the morning that trailer was released, all of us like in Slack and on Twitter, like watching it together and seeing her say Thrawn is going to be the heir to the Empire, and watching Lars Mikkelsen walk back, watching Ahsoka like cut that hole in the floor, like spinning and falling down, her and Sabine talking together, Ezra on the thing. And now recently we've even had the inklings that Rosario Dawson has said in interviews like, oh yeah, Filoni said this is basically like Rebel season 5. And I think what I'm going to do,
I want to change
because I gotta be slightly healthy and guarded, manage my expectations as well. Wes, I'm gonna meet you where you are at 8 out of 10 Ahsoka head tails.
Okay.
I can't go 9 because frankly I think that's mutilation, and I feel weird about it.
So you can't make it an odd
Straight
number.
up.
I mean, you can.
It's gotta be pairs. Gotta be pairs.
But yeah, I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 Ahsoka head tails in my excitement about it. Again, the only thing that could really bring it down would be if it just kind of meanders a bit, like a little bit of this last season of Mando did. But I think that one of the key elements is that Filoni was working on Ahsoka during that season, which is why his touch wasn't really on Mando. So for me, I'm really excited to get him back, purely doing a show with the character that he's been building for 15 years. Now, something like that. Like, yeah. So 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10 head tails, acknowledging that first episode could bring me all the way to 10.
I'm gonna mess things up, guys.
Do it!
I'm gonna do something crazy, and I'm gonna give this perfect 10. Perfect 10.
Whoa!
Yeah, I am.
5 sets
I know.
of head tails.
I know that's not what you were expecting. I know.
No.
5 sets of head tails. Yeah. I want to be really excited for this show. All right. I want to be really excited for this show. I missed out on the hype that was Rebels. I watched it. This was like, what year did Rebels come out? I mean, it was a while ago.
2014?
2014.
Like
Yeah, something like that. I was like,
I'll check.
that was about the time Rebels came out, and that's when I jumped on the Clone Wars, right? So I was behind on the Clone Wars TV show as well when I was in
same.
college. Yeah. When I was in college, I was in college in 2014. We
2014.
Rebels was coming out. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. When Rebels came out, I was like, man, I got to really get caught up in this. If there's gonna be more than one Star Wars show, like I guess I'll get on board. And I immediately loved the Clone Wars. I was like so in love with the Clone Wars. And then it was between Rebels season 1 and 2 when I decided to start watching Rebels, and it wasn't on TV. You couldn't find it, so I pirated it off the internet.
It was impossible to find. I watched it on DirecTV Now or something.
That was right after Disney bought Star Wars. They hadn't figured anything out yet. Like it was a troubling time, right? So I pirated Rebels off the internet. I had difficulty with the files that I had. There were some translation issues, and it was clearly ripped from TV, and some of the quality wasn't very good, and blah blah blah. And I didn't love it. I did not love season 1 of Rebels. Like, and I still to this day do not really love.
It's a tough hang.
It is. I mean, it's like it's absolutely written for a very young audience, and coming from the amazingness that was the Clone Wars right into Rebels, I felt pretty let down by that. So like, I did not jump on the hype of Rebels honestly until I started Utini like a couple of years later, like 2018, I think. And I dived into Rebels and with the new vision, new lenses to look through about positivity and choosing joy and that sort of attitude, right? And I loved it. It was a great show. I watched it with Caitlin recently. In the last 2 years, we watched it all together. It was brilliant. She cried like a baby watching it. It's really, really great. It's really great writing. So I feel like I missed out on the Rebels experience because of my shitty attitude, right? I feel
Sure.
Genuinely. I genuinely do. I feel like I feel like I watched that original show the first time I watched it, and the first couple seasons I watched it, I feel like I probably publicly crapped on it to people and stuff. And like going to Celebration, seeing younger audiences, especially that are now in their teens and in college now, like how obsessed with they are about the shows. Like, I'm just like, I feel bad, man. I have guilt for being an asshole about that. And I want to go into this show, which is a continuation of that show, with this newfound philosophy that Utini gave me, that I want to be positive. I don't want to be too meta. This is going to be the most impossible thing to do for this show too, right? Because we know too much. We know too much. We know about Filoni. We know about Disney. We know about the actors.
We know there's a movie coming. We know,
I know. We know it's got Thrawn in it. We know the plot of Heir to the Empire. We know the plot of New Thrawn. There's so much meta associated with this show. I want to try to do my absolute best to forget about all that shit and just watch it and enjoy it. Like I do. I want to not care about the CGI. I want to not get obsessed with the writing. I want to not get obsessed with the plot. I want to just watch it with the eyes and the mind of a child and just enjoy it. And I'm really going to try to do that with this show. Like if I can somehow
wonderful the mind of a child is, I've heard.
I know. If I can do that with this, I feel like I will have redeemed the Rebel show in my mind a little bit. It's gonna be hard, I think, really, really hard, because there's so many variables with this show, because we've said it before, if it's bad and everybody dislikes it and it's not very critically acclaimed at all, like this could be really bad for the like Filoni verse. And if Ahsoka crashes and burns, is that gonna affect that new movie? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, so there's a lot of meta associated with it. Yeah. I think it's going to be very, very hard for Star Wars fans to look at this without a critical lens, and I'm going to do my absolute best to do that with this show.
I love that, man. Ending on 10 head tails is super solid. I think this is easily going to be the most talked about thing for all of us come that time of year, especially around Utini offices, if you will. But the next week, hilariously, Ahsoka comes out on a Wednesday. The next Tuesday, we got a book coming out. So Wes, you teed that up. Corey, if you'd be so kind as to navigate over to our ClickUp doc, the next thing we got is going to be a return to form, but I think also a slightly controversial project.
Yeah, these are always really fun projects. The FACPOV books, From a Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi, From a Certain Point of View, comes out on August 29th. Now, first of all, this book has the most beautiful cover of any of the From a Certain Point of View books. And these are great. Wes, I know they're special to you. It's one of the first books you read. I remember you talking about. I love these books. I really like these books. I love that. I've always been a huge fan of the original trilogy. It's kind of risky to say that. I feel like in a lot of circles to say that the OT is like your thing, because there's a pretty toxic side of the fandom that's like that says that all the time. Right?
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, I know, hot take. I like the OT. I'm like, so brave.
No.
Oh my
I know,
goodness!
no.
How
I
dare
know,
you?
no. There's
Controversial opinion.
there's still a lot of people nowadays that
Yeah,
just they
I
only
feel
want
you.
to talk about the original trilogy. And come on,
Yes.
guys, it's been 30 years, right? So,
Yeah.
I still love the original trilogy. I have a fondness for it that the other trilogies don't have in my heart, right? So, I've always enjoyed content that is sort of adjacent to the original trilogy, and this is more than just adjacent to the original trilogy. This is the original trilogy, right? Like you
Yep.
can watch the film with this book in your hand and see the things on screen in your mind's eye, like that are in the book, and I
Yeah.
love that about these books. Like it gives you a new appreciation and depth for the original trilogy that I don't think a lot of books are able to give you. So I am very, very excited for this. On a scale of 1 to 5 yub nubs, I would give this one. I'm also going to give this one a perfect 5. I'm very,
All
very
right.
excited for this project. Honestly, I think I'm more excited for this book than I have any other book that's come out this year. As crazy as that sounds.
Wow. Oh, I love
I
that.
I think these are really fun. The audiobook experience is always very different from the reading experience, where they do lots of different voices and sound effects. Like it's a massive production, like these books are. And some of the stories are 10 out of 10s, some of the stories are 1 out of 10s. Like not everything is going to be a flawless experience, but it's not that kind of book, right? It's not that kind of
Yeah.
story. Like you gotta take everything kind of as it comes, and if you don't like one of the stories and you're halfway through it, just skip it and go to the next one. That doesn't make you
Yeah.
weak, or like you don't have to feel guilt for skipping around in a book like this. So
Yeah, and you won't
I'm
miss
very
out on the
excited.
story because you know what it is, right?
I know. You know what
Exactly,
happens.
exactly.
You
And
know
hey,
what happens.
our buddy Darth Chaco in the chat asked a great question. What story do you want to be in this? And Corey, I want to give it right to you on this. You're giving this a perfect 5 out of 5. Yubbins and nubbins. What do you want to be the story that you like? You read right before bed and you're like, oh God, what a great way to end the day because I got this.
Man. Let me think about Return of the Jedi. I've really seen this movie a lot of times. Let me think.
It's been a while for me, weirdly.
I love the opening quarter of this movie. Everything that happens, like with Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo, all that stuff is fantastic. I'm sure there's a lot of room for character stories and stuff in there. I mean, have they released the list of all the stories already? I wouldn't be surprised if they have. Okay,
Not
so
yet.
yeah. I would love to see something about Han and Carbonite. Like
Ooh.
That's good.
is it like somebody's job to did Jabba hire an interior designer to come in and place him on the wall
To mount him.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some stories associated with the fact that Han is in Carbonite. He's been put on display in Jabba's palace.
He told me to make it fit the room. I've never been hired to do this, but I have to make the aesthetic fit. So I went and got some fabric, but it's Carbonite, and that's not pretty. How do I light it well? Who installed that light?
I know. Just the entire concept of Han being Carbonite. I think there's a lot of interesting story potential there. Maybe from one of the slave dancers in Jabba's palace, like she notes that this guy's on the wall and it's really creepy, and she's kind of exploring. There's a lot of side.
Give an Ula story. That'd be cool.
Which was that? Who's
Ula? She's the Twi'lek. She's the Twi'lek.
The one that gets eaten. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Look, someone lit that. Someone had to light that.
I know.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Here, Wes pulled up the screenshot. Yeah. It's very recently been placed here, and Jabba has that one line that it's a joke. It's why would I get rid of my favorite decoration or whatever he said? And it genuinely is staged as a decoration.
It really is.
So something about
the
placement of Han in Jabba's palace, or people observing Han in Jabba's palace. I don't know. I was always as a kid really enamored with Han being in Carbonite and waking up, and he has carbon sickness, and so something about Han would be great, I think.
Okay. That's great. I'll say I always like the kind of more serious ones in these. Rather, there's a lot of comedic ones, which is fun. You build in, give into the camp and stuff of the movies, which is fun. But I really like a couple stories each time where you really get the seriousness of what's going on. And with Jedi, there's so many, and I would love an expansion on either Nora Wexley or Sinjir from the Aftermath books, because we know they were at the Battle of Endor. And the Death Star run, I want Nora flying in thinking about how she might never see Temin again, and what does that do to her?
That would be cool.
And because we've seen it in flashbacks in the books, but I would love to have that story told. So I hope that the Aftermath crew maybe gets a little bit of love here, because we know they were there.
Yeah. How many yub nubs?
Oh, my yub nubs for this. I'm gonna do yub nub, yub nub, yub nub, yub. I'm gonna do 3.5 with a single yub.
That's funny.
Yeah, I have found it a little harder to give in to all of these, and honestly, I will say a lot of it is just because of what we do. Reviewing them, I have to like read all of them in such short succession. So I think in order to go from 3.5 yub nubs to like a full 5, I think I'm gonna take your advice and kind of take a little less pressure off. Like if I don't want to finish one, I might just skip it and go to the next one, and that's okay. So maybe if I treat these as more of like a recreational exercise into Return of the Jedi, maybe that'll really help me out. So I think I'm gonna do that, and that'll go from a yub nub yub nub yub to a yub nub yub nub yub nub yub nub. I think.
Is that 3?
What did I just say? Wes, how about you? Did I have a stroke on live?
Is that for 3 Wyatts? All right. So speaking of yub nub, I would like to have a story of the darker side of the Ewoks who,
The
who
cannibals.
considered humanoid flesh as a delicacy. And there's
That's
something before they met Leia, before they met Han, there were some other poor traveling campers that just wanted to see the great star of the moon of Endor, and then they camped out under a tree and they got eaten by Ewoks or something.
Is that Caravan of Courage? Is that
I was gonna say, dude, that would be a hilarious way. It'd be a hilarious way to bring in the characters from Caravan of Courage. They can be eaten by the Ewoks.
They get killed. Yeah. You know what I want, Wes? Now you inspired me. I want the Ewoks whose job it was to take the helmets off of the dead corpses to make the drums that they hit at the party.
Yes.
They were like looting the corpses to make drums.
Yeah, how they made it so musically perfect whenever they hit the top of those helmets.
Yeah. Or how about the Lando story that says why he's just clapping off beat, going like, hey.
To terror or to make them more villainous, make them more scary because they're not teddy bears. They eat people. You know.
They won a war.
Ewok hunt in Battlefront was freaking terrifying.
God,
That was terrifying.
Horrifying.
fun,
Wes, how many yubs and how many nubs?
I'm 4 yub nubs. So yub nub, yub nub, yub nub, yub nub for me.
Excellent.
4 out of 5 yub nubs.
This is the hardest thing we've ever done on this show.
I know.
I mean, like Corey said, you can keep the book with you as you watch the movie, but like if you don't have, like if your imagination can't run amok, like some people's can, like you already have the image in your head of what everybody is in this movie, and then these little side quests, I guess, you already know what they look like. You already know what they sound like. Then you can have a better picture in your head of actually what's going on when you can't actually see it yourself. But because of you seeing the movie or haven't seen the movie a million times, but if you've seen it like more than once, then you can have a good setting. It sets the stage pretty well for you to give a good image of what's going on without actually having seen it.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I think honestly, one of my sort of controversial opinions actually is if you're a fairly diehard Star Wars fan that wants to dive into the books and comics for the first time, and you've seen all the original movies and you've seen them a bunch of times and stuff, but you've never actually dived into the literature, I really don't think that these books would be that bad of a starting point, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it would be a little easier if each one of these books didn't consistently have 1 or 2 stories that are kind of genuinely bad. if like the mouse droid story,
I was gonna say the mouse droid.
Oh my god, it was atrocious. The audio experience was shouldn't have been done. It was so
rough.
bad. But if you take away some of those really bad ones and hand this to a new reader, like I think they would get it. And I think it would be enough motivation to want to keep going after that, because the stories are pretty rich and there's something really cool about seeing characters in the background come to life, I think, in these types of books. So yeah, these are fun. We got to figure out how to cover it. I think the last time we did this on the show, we just each picked a couple stories and talked about them, which is pretty catchy.
Picked our favorites.
I think we're gonna rock with that, and it's interesting because hilariously, a week after that happens, we get another anthology, which is our next project, the High Republic: Tales of Light and Life. Now, this one we do know basically all the stories. I don't have them in front of me, but they all get announced. We did an episode on that. We know like what authors are basically tackling which eras. I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna immediately say 5 out of 5 husked Jedi is my excitement for this.
Oh,
All the
man.
dust.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. So despite our less than stellar, I'd say, opinion of Phase 2, we did a whole episode when we talked about Path to Vengeance, about kind of stuff we wanted more from the initiative and stuff. Every time I hear about the stories in this, I'm very excited because it seems like the appetizer to get me right back to remember like how much I loved the meal of Phase 1 before diving back in. I'm very excited to get the in-between years stories that we're going to get. I know that Charles Soule is going to write more Bell and Loden, which I love. We're getting more Markion. Like, we're getting back to a lot of characters that I really like. And we've always said that any issues that we've had with Phase 2 or the High Republic as a whole has never really been about author talent. It's really just been about kind of the structure. So given that we get basically all the authors in this to write what they want to do in all the different eras, this absolutely gets a 5 out of 5 dustings for me. And I really hope that I really think there's a chance I might get lost
Husk.
in this
You're sick,
in the
Eric.
release. So many husks. Yes, Stephanie Mac, the Markion hose will unite within this book.
Markion hose.
Yeah, a
Oh,
lot of short
man.
stories within 2 weeks, but yeah, 5 out of 5 husks on me. Where you guys at on this short story before we kind of launch into the High Republic properly a couple months after?
I would say I'm 2 out of 5 husks.
All right,
for this
speak on it.
anthology. I mean, Phase 2 really kind of gave me a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest with you. But I hope having the shorter stories kind of gives me some more detail in a shorter form, I guess, that to help me, get over that hump. But hopefully Phase 3 really knocks it out of the park. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I'm just not real excited about it, to be quite honest. So
Yeah.
2
Well,
out
hey,
of
maybe
5
they'll have an audiobook
dead
that comes
Jedi.
out less than a month after the printed version.
Oh my God.
That'd be good.
Don't get me started with that. That's brutal. Yeah. I will also echo Wes's 2 out of 5 husk.
All
We'll be
right.
we're on the same side of the screen right now, Wes. We can be the Debbie Downers, right? That makes up for Eric, right? Yeah, I know. I'm 100%. I know exactly. I'm 100% with Wes on this. I also like. I don't think I would use the phrase sour taste as much as I would just say I'm just very burned out on Phase 2 of the High Republic. And if a lot of this content is going to be Phase 1 heavy, it's going to be very hard for me to like get back in that zone. Like I would much rather get back in the zone with like diving into Phase 3 and remembering who all these characters are and that sort of stuff. Like I think this is gonna be really hard for me to digest. I'm gonna have to use that. What's it called? Is it an encyclopedia? The High Republic thing?
Oh yes.
What is that? Is that an
It's on a shelf
encyclopedia?
somewhere around me. The reference book, the Chronicles of
Yeah,
the
the
Jedi, right?
Yeah. Chronicles. I bought that actually. It's one of the
Yeah.
only hardcover,
Sensational.
physical books that I have from High Republic. I'm definitely gonna have to have that open while I'm reading this to remember who some of the characters
Great.
are and stuff. So
Great idea,
it'll
actually.
be interesting. But in my mind, this project feels like work for me. I feel like I'm gonna have to work hard to be able to appreciate it. And I just
Sure.
don't want to do that right now, man. I just wanna like what I like. All right.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Yeah. We'll see. I can remain.
All right.
I'm cautiously optimistic about Wave 3. Right. So
Yeah.
Wave 3, Phase 3.
Phase 3. Oh my God, I even wrote it. That's coming up later, folks. See,
Okay.
it's been years.
Yeah.
It's been
You wrote
years.
something on the calendar. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about Phase 3, and
Same.
hopefully this book sort of sets the foundation for that in a positive way. So
That would be
you know,
great.
I've not given up on the High Republic for sure.
Yeah. And hey, I need and Charles Soule writing prose is always good.
I know.
I mean, that's also
That's
a
all I
selfish
need.
thing. That's the two husks right there. Although before we get to that, we have one more project before we get to Phase 3. Wes, tell us about what I feel like might be one of the more controversial books of the year. And I'm gonna figure out my rating as you talk because I'm a little perplexed with this one.
Okay. So coming up on October 10th, releasing on October 10th, is a novel by E.K. Johnson called Star Wars Crimson Climb. Now, this is with Kira, but
Sorry,
remind
it's a
me
hot
again.
cover. I always
so we're
forget
having
about
this
that.
show.
Jesus.
Remind me again of what era is this before she sees Han again, or is this after? I think it's
This is post Solo, so she's making her dang it. I think it's her ascension through Crimson Dawn.
Okay.
I don't remember if it is before Solo or after Solo. I'm
Maybe
going to Google it
incorporates
right now.
Both. Maybe it incorporates both. That would be neat. Like, I mean, just kind of meanders through.
It should be on our timeline. What am I doing?
Go to the utini.com/timeline. I'm not sure if that's it. But
Crimson Climb.
Okay, no, yeah. So it's before the end of Solo because it's her and Dryden Voss as he offers her an opportunity to rise. So it's within Solo.
I think that's what I remember. So there is a story to be told there, right? Because we didn't know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
to her because she was taken by the guards at the airport, whatever you want to call it, in Solo.
TSA got her.
TSA got her.
TSA got her.
Ma'am.
Yeah, we didn't see her for years.
That's hilarious.
She didn't take her shoes off. They told her so many times.
It does look like an airport. What is that exactly? What is
Can't
that
be
gate?
the only
It's
one.
a spaceport. It's a spaceport.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, but why are there gates? No, it's not a space. Is it a spaceport?
Yeah, because
I don't
Han,
think
like,
it
they're
is.
getting off the planet.
Yeah, they're trying to get on a vessel and they didn't.
They're
have
leaving.
Maybe it
He's like,
is.
I'll come back to Corellia. That's what he's gonna say. He's gonna come
Dumb.
back.
Okay.
Doesn't the airport?
Chaco, she had a full size shampoo in her bag. It's more than 3 ounces.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
this book, this story does need to be told. We need to. I mean, it'd be great to know what happened. We probably filled in the blanks ourselves when we were watching the movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there is some detail there that we. I would like to know. I would like to know
Yeah.
what happened right there.
Yeah, there's been hints in the comics, like of vague stuff as she in Crimson Rain or something, I think. But you're right, we haven't gotten the full thing.
Yeah. So.
Oh man.
What am I gonna say for this one? Okay, I will give this. Oh boy, I'll give this 3 out of 5 coaxium canisters.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
that could
Yeah.
be
Good
very
one.
valuable, or like $6, depending on the point of the movie.
Listen, that actually annoys the shit out of me that we never figure out how much the stuff is worth. Like,
Oh, I love
genuinely.
that. Oh,
That's
it's so
I hate that.
intentional. It's so
That annoys the crap
sorry,
out of me.
you can hate it, but yeah, it is intentional. But yeah, that's fair.
I know it's intentional, but still.
Yeah,
I don't think it's completely necessary to add into the to the Star Wars canon, but I think it'd be a fun read to know about the details about how she got from where she was into where
Yep.
she is when she meets Han again at that party. So 3 out of
Totally.
5 coaxium canisters for me.
Okay.
Okay. Eric, since you've been thinking
Yes.
about it while I've been talking about it.
I have. So I don't think it's any surprise to anybody that's listened to the show before. Kira is one of my favorite new characters in the Disney canon. I think she's sensational. Amelia Clark's performance really like grabbed onto me in the movie, and for exactly that same reason, there's so much mystery to her. I always wanted more. When she showed up again in the comics, I thought it was incredible. Full disclosure, I think I read all of War of the Bounty Hunters, Crimson Rain, and the last one, I got totally lost. I love Charles Soule as a writer. I could not follow that event. I could not follow what happened to Kira. To our friends that read a lot of comics that did, I love you so dearly. I couldn't do it. So when this got announced, I was actually very thrilled to have it. That being said, the latest E.K. Johnson project with Queen's Hope really fell flat for me. We talked about on the show that the Queen's trilogy, Queen's Shadow, we all pretty much came around on, and Queen's Peril was one of my favorites. I mean, our quote is on the book. Like a thing that I said that I loved about it is on the paperback. I thought that was one of the best YA novels that we have in Star Wars. And then Queen's Hope kind of just shook my foundation in the storytelling a bit. So because of that, for the character and the story, I'm all jazzed about it. For just the recent experiences of the book, I think I'm also I'll do a 3.5 coaxium canisters myself.
Half
I
a
think
canister.
half a canister. So we broke it in half and it exploded. Deadly. So I really hope it's good because I do think Kira is one of those characters that deserves a novel. I mean, Most Wanted by Ray Carson is still one of the best unsung gems of Star Wars literature for me, and because Kira is written so well and she has so much in her that is exciting. And I hope that this story, that will more than likely just be her figuring out her way without being bogged down by like Han as a love interest main character. There's a lot of intrigue there, and I just hope that the execution also rises to that level. So I'll go 3.5 coaxium canisters myself. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, I will also sort of echo that a little bit. I'll give this 2 out of 5 coaxium canisters. Yeah, I'm always excited to read about Kira. And what was the young adult book that was so good? Not Last Shot. It was
Most Wanted.
Most one.
Most Wanted. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Most Wanted. Most Wanted was phenomenal. The book was really, really
Yeah.
good. One of the best, I think, young adult books, just period, that we've ever gotten was really, really good. So I'm excited to read about Kira. It's a little brutal, but I'm always blunt on this show. I wish it was written by somebody else. I mean, just straight up. I really do. I'm back at Eric a lot. I'm the last couple EK projects have fallen flat a little bit for us, at Utini. And this is a really, really meta, but I just really do not enjoy the social commentary and community response every time an EK book comes out. She's a relatively controversial figure on Twitter sometimes. She's written some fairly problematic things in previous books, and every time she writes a book, there's just a lot of yelling. There's a lot of yelling from the community about
sure
this and that. It's really hard to listen to, and it's really hard to sort of be a leader in the space, around that all the time. So every time EK writes a book, I'm excited to read it, but there is a bit of a collective groan because I know what's coming.
Yeah.
And I think there's just no way around it, frankly.
Yeah.
And that's not really fair to EK, unfortunately. Like Eric said, we came around completely on the Curse of Queen's Hope. Queen's Shadow. Queen's Shadow, Jesus.
Got it in 3.
we came around on Queen Shadow for sure, the Utini curse of that book. And we definitely came around on the second one. The third one was a pretty massive fall flat for all of us. But maybe this will be the redemption story. I mean, Kira is a very rich character. I think her story has a lot of potential. Dryden Voss is a fantastic villain that we know nothing about. We don't know what species it is. I mean, his Wikipedia
near
page
human.
says he's a near
right?
human. So there's a lot of potential here. A lot of potential. Maybe the writer learned from her last experience, because people were pretty brutal online when that last Queen book came out. So we'll see. We'll see how it comes about. But yeah, solid 2 for me.
Yep. All right. So hesitant on that one. We'll see what happens. But rounding out our major releases, Corey, tee us up for, I think, the book that probably has the most writing on it for the year, but
there is
by someone who we desperately hope we can succeed.
That is correct. There's a lot riding on this, because what we're talking about is the High Republic Phase 3 is finally starting at the end of this year. I think I can speak for everyone when I say that we all universally agree we should have gone straight to this phase. So it's gonna be very interesting, I think, in hindsight, to see how this all fits together. Are we going to recommend you read in release order? Are we going to recommend you skip Phase 2 entirely? What are we going to recommend to you, teens? It's going to be interesting to see what comes together. But the first book that we're getting is Eye of Darkness by George Mann on November 14th. Now, we love George Mann. He's one of our favorite authors we've ever interviewed. We've interviewed him multiple times. Him and Kevin are both wonderful, wonderful human beings. We genuinely love every minute we get to spend with them. I'm going to be interested to see what a written project looks like. I think George might have gotten a little bit of an unfair thrust into the forefront with the audio drama, right? I think everybody liked it pretty well, but I think it was sort of lower on the ranking of audio dramas for most people. I think this is like a chance at redemption, might be a strong way to put it, but I think this is really going to be a chance for him to shine in a novel. So
and that cover, cover not final series, one of our favorite series.
I know.
Vastly
one of our
popular
favorite series. That's right. The UT. Yep. 100%. The cover not final series. So this is going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to give this. Oh shit. I didn't think about the ranking system.
Yep.
Let's see here.
I believe in you. I
High
believe in
Republic 4. What can I go for?
Kosov's hands.
How many hands does he have, Wes?
I'm gonna go with all right, I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 episodes of bronchitis.
Wow,
Oh,
a
what a very
Tempest
doctor
Runner
thing of
joke,
you to say.
everybody.
A Tempest Runner joke.
Wow.
If you missed it, we called that
Oh.
audiobook Star Wars Bronchitis.
There
There was so much coughing
So
in
much
that
coughing.
audio drama, but I loved it. It was hilarious. Yeah, that's what we're going with. Episodes of Bronchitis. 4 out of 5 for me.
All right, very solid.
Okay.
Right. I like it. I'll jump in and say, I love it. I love that scale. I'll start off with 5 out of 5 bronchitises for me. Bronchitises for me. This has kind of everything that I'm gonna want. It's got the Eye of Darkness says very Markian Row heavy. Markian Row, as I said in phase 1, I think had the best villain introduction since Vader, and he kept that through the phase.
Oh,
The fact that
great villain.
it's starting off a year after he basically took over the galaxy is amazing. And George Mann on, I think it was the Celebration panel, started talking about how much he loved writing like Avar and Elzar. He started listing the main people again, and they're like, "Shut up, George!" But so we know this is like the gang. This is the main gang back
Gang's
together.
all here. Scooby-Doo.
After like a year of dark trauma happened, and like George is really like he's a horror fan. He excels at the dark stuff. Like you said, when he's really just given room to play, like with Dark Legends or with Myths and Fables or even the middle grades that he's done, he's really excelled in the storytelling of it and taking what I think are some of the best created characters we've had in a while is really going to, I think, jumpstart it very fast. And him starting the phase again with an adult novel, it's back to form. Like, again, hating to be that person to an extent, but like we're going back to kind of what it was. We got an adult novel with the main cast to start us going. So I have no reason.
We had New Coke for a while, and now we're at Coke Classic again.
Now we're back to Coke Classic, exactly. So 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5 bronchitises for me, with a little bit of extra Coke and Smash Balls thrown in there to ride the storm.
I'm gonna echo that. I think I want to give it 5 out of 5 bronchitises. Because bronchitis. We need this. We need this to lift us up. We need this story too, because they left us on such a sour note. And the Eye of Darkness, it might even bring us down lower, but bring us up at the same time, right? So there's still a lot about Markian Row we don't know. I mean, we don't know how he got to where he was, and how like Marta and him kind of coincide. They're gonna be flashbacks. So this is. I think this is going to give us a lot more setting. We're going to know exactly what we're getting into. We're not going to have brand new characters. So the stage will be set. Like I said before, it's going to be great. We're going to know exactly where we started. Maybe not exactly where we started, but we're going to have a better setting. So 5 out of 5. I have high hopes for this one and for the cover. Like,
which maybe we get on July 5th. Who knows?
Maybe so.
It's
but
just
I think that's
a
interesting.
Big eye. Just Markian Row's red ass eye. Just
why not?
One.
But he also has a chain again for the reader, so we can all feel a little kinky with it.
Or leather. I would like leather. Please.
All the leather. The Markian Hoes unite. They buy a lot of books. So this being said, this is very interesting. Looking now as we kind of wrap up at the year as a whole. We got Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade, which we were all kind of mildly excited for. We'll see. Ahsoka series gets us up to max. Return of the Jedi, we're still pretty high on. Tales of Light and Life, we're cautious. Crimson Clan, again, we're a little cautious. And then we come back up for Phase 3 High Republic. So it should be a very interesting year, I think.
Wave.
You know?
It is. There's a lot of back-to-back content that I'm a little concerned about.
Just volume-wise.
Very volume-wise. Going to be a lot of stuff to do. I mean... book it serious. We're looking at July 18th is a full novel, then a show starts. So given a show that doesn't take as big of a commitment, it's just a once a week kind of gig. But right after the show starts is Return of the Jedi, and then a week after that, which those are massive books too, from a certain point of view. I know they're massive. I know. Then we have the Tales of Light and Life. I don't know how big that one will be. I hope it's not as big as from a certain point of view.
Oh, not nearly. Well,
then a month later we'll get Crimson Climb, which is probably going to be relatively short. EK's books are typically pretty short. Then we have no idea what Eye of Darkness is going to be like. I hope it's a big boy. I hope it's 500 pages of redemption. I friggin' do. I really do. I mean, I need that so bad. I really need to snort a line of High Republic Phase 3. Just let me tell you.
Dude, that's the
Lord.
Sanderson reader in you now. So now you
Put it
read
into
like
my
this board and
veins.
stuff. You're like,
I gotta get
take
jacked
the
up
hundreds.
on it.
I want it to be druggy. I want it to be hundreds of pages. I want multiple planets. I want multiple people. I want it.
I really want
Give
it.
it to me.
I hope every single moment is just like everybody that we love and know just rushes in, and I really need that. Really,
That's
need
all
it.
we need.
Well, there's also, we might even get another towards the end of the year, maybe in 2024. I don't know. But the Skeleton Crew may or may not be coming out in 2023. But like,
we'll
towards
see.
the end.
True.
That's a good point.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm
know.
gonna doubt it, but that would be great. That's my I got 5 out of 5 spacefaring children. As far as my excitement on that one, because it's
Dead younglings.
Yeah.
God.
I feel like that's gonna be
Have you
like the first almost like brand new, completely original Star Wars idea we've had in a while. And I think that's a fun concept because everything has been kind of connected, kind of playing it decently safe. Even these things are really fun, but they're all kind of playing it a little safe.
Mhm.
This is like,
It's
hey,
got, it's
all
got
new.
what's his name in it from The Holiday? What's the guy's name
Jude
again?
Law.
Jude Law.
I
Jude
love
Law.
that
You
you
know who
said
else
from
is
the
in there?
holiday.
I
love
love
that you-
The
that's it.
Holiday movie. That's my favorite
movie's
chick flick of
incredible.
all friggin' time. I love
That
The
movie's
Holiday. It's Jack
perfect.
Black and Jude Law. It's a freaking phenomenal movie.
Love that movie.
I am never gonna forget being at Celebration, and I can't. Were we at Celebration? I think we were at Celebration. No. I think it was their stream this year. And the people that were talking on stage about Skeleton Crew were they just picked the most awkward people. Like,
Yeah, that was this year.
and they were like, Jude Law's face comes up on the screen, and there's like some kind of quiet applause, and that guy's like, and it's got Jude Law in it.
Yeah. Oh no, wait, no, that we were there. We were there. This year
Was
they
that
had it in
right?
there.
Okay.
No, the announcement. Yeah, we were there.
They're like, here, we have some big
bless 'em.
announcements. It's got Jude Law in it.
Yeah, I do
It's
And then
remember
so
that now.
awkward. He was so awkward
weird.
about it. It was just freaking funny. And
man.
then
Someone took his
everyone
note
just
cards
like-
and he had to ad lib.
I know. It was just
Yep.
like, I guess this is
Can't
fun.
do it.
Let's all
Did we
clap and
know
cheers.
that Jaleel White was in this?
I don't even know who that is.
Maybe
Jaleel White is Urkel from Family Matters.
Urkel,
So
That's
but he's
not
jacked now.
It's-
He's super jacked.
I just
really.
Googled it and it said
Yeah.
the cast: Jude Law, Kieran O'Connor, Jaleel White, Carrie Condon. And I was like, Jaleel
Yeah,
White,
we'll
no
see.
way! All right.
Wow.
We'll have to
That's
see.
We'll see.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be
That is
2024.
that is the Joker card of the new Star Wars shows for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Without a doubt.
We'll find out, but I think there's a lot of good stuff overall coming this year. I'm glad it's more spread out. I'm glad we got time to digest, except for that again 3-week span where it's a bunch of books. But
it's
let
been
us know what
chaos.
you guys are most excited for. Give us your crazy lightsabers and headtails and dustings and rankings and stuff. We want to know.
Bronchitis.
We're gonna bring you our reactions on all of it. It's gonna be a fun year. There's always stuff coming out, and stay tuned for July 5th to see what Briaga does and enjoy this picture of Urkel.
Oh,
Oh my
That's fun.
god.
that's
Okay,
fun.
Whatever.
Well, we're not gonna eclipse that. So you know what, everybody? That's gonna do it for next week's episode of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, thank you so much. Make sure to stay tuned for the Ghost Crew and Dice Wars coming your way in the next couple weeks. A special thank you to Brian Julie, Earl Q, Carl Sander, Zach W, and Michael Fry on our Jedi High Council, and James T, Ashley Ingalls, Colton Fife, and Chris Carrizo on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Eilerson, Corey is at Corey M. Helton, West is at Boss West, and the show is at Living Force Pod. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Corey and Wes for potting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you for hanging out and watching. And as always, may the Force be with you.